Breath management. Expand, connect, and slow snatch. Expand your ribs, relax your abs, connect to your core, and slowly snatch the air, preferably on an S. I will talk about some exercises that you can incorporate into your daily regimen. The purpose of the lungs is to sustain life. There is a gaseous exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. That is the purpose of our lungs. Mishaps and misconceptions. First off, you do not breathe from your diaphragm, and you do not breathe from your stomach. Why? Because your lungs are located in your chest. So the language in itself is confusing if a teacher tells a young singer to breathe from your stomach and breathe from your diaphragm, because you don't. We breathe from our lungs. It is our lungs that sustains us, the breath in the lungs. Another misconception is that the diaphragm is the primary muscle of support and breath management. It is not. It is the balance of the muscles of expiration and the muscles of inspiration that helps the singer to manage their breath. It is then the epigastrium that provides a core sensation so that you can emit the breath, equal breath pressure. It is the maintenance of the air that matters. Inhalation. During the inhalation phase, you must expand your upper torso, lift the sternum without lifting the shoulders, relax your abs without losing form, and allow the diaphragm to expand. We cannot control our diaphragm. It is an involuntary muscle. But as we inhale, the diaphragm will shift downward and become more of a flattened surface. Connect to your epigastrium or wherever you feel your center of balance. That is the inhalation phase. During the exhalation, you're already in a position of expansion. The key is, during exhalation, do not allow your sternum to fall. This is a common mistake with singers, young and old, that as you are exhaling, you must maintain the height of the chest. In the same way that a dancer would keep their chests lifted during movement, a singer is to keep their chests lifted, almost like headlights, okay? So during the exhalation phase, you maintain the height of your chest and the width of your ribs, if possible, and you think of a string, a long, lean string that you would pull up from the base of your abdominal muscles and snatch through the top of your head. Expand on the inhalation, connect, and slow snatch on the exhalation. Expand, connect, slow snatch. It is the balance of the inhalation and exhalation phases that is key to understanding breath management. The epigastrium specifically is an area, as I've talked about, that will help you to maintain a sense of control of the breath without pushing or pulling. You don't want to push down or pull in. You want to feel that the breath is slowly being emitted as you sing. Now it's time for the fun stuff. exercises and analogies that you can take with you and that you can think about and hone your craft. Breath management is definitely one of the most challenging aspects of singing, but if you continue to experiment, if you continue to think about, if you continue to practice and find the balance of it all, you'll get there. So exercises. One of my favorite exercises for honing breath management is the 5-second hold. If you go underwater for 5 seconds, or if you were to hold your breath for 5 seconds, after the 5 seconds is up, go right into an S. So you would hold your breath for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if you practice this, you will notice that when you hold your breath for 5 seconds, you instantly will maintain some of the support or maintain what Italians call appoggio. Appoggio. A-P-P-O-G-G-I-O. Appoggiare is the infinitive of the Italian word that means to hold. You literally are holding your breath, but you're also using your breath. So you're not using all the air and you're not holding all the air. It's like a tug of war. It's as if you were singing on compressed air, that equal balance of push and pull. It's antagonistic muscles that are well balanced. Not one side is bullying the other side. Not one phase is overwhelming the other phase. So you go underwater in your mind, you hold your breath for 5 seconds, and then you start another exercise. You can lift your hands above your head. And when you lift your hands above your head, what you do is, it's almost like a shoulder press. You maintain the hands above the head, and your chest cavity will be in an expanded position. From that position, I want you to then use an S, and you'll notice how long you'll be able to hold your breath. It's a great adage to your practice session. So arms above your head, and you'll feel appoggio in your epigastrium. Another exercise that I like is a pumping action. So instead of a long sustained breath, which we call legato, we're going to use shorter pumping breaths called staccato. Shh, 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 shh. And as you use the SH, you'll feel a little bit of a quickening right in the area of your epigastrium, just below your rib cage, where you can place your fist and you'll feel a pumping action. That particular exercise, I believe, helps you to become agile. It helps the process to be more agile, because sometimes we have to use movement to get the breath to flow efficiently. Okay? Now, another vocal exercise that I learned when I was a young girl in college was mezza di voce. Mezza di voce. With mezza di voce, you start with the pianissimo sound, but you have to start in a expanded position. So you would expand your chest, relax your abs, connect, and slowly snatch. But instead of snatching on an S or an SH, you're going to snatch on a tone, a slow snatch on a tone. So let's see. I'm going to demonstrate for you. Mezza di voce. I'm out of practice myself. But it's starting pianissimo, crescendo, and then decrescendo. This is another way that mezza di voce can also teach you just how much of a forte you can handle and just how much of a pianissimo you can handle. If you crack on the pianissimo, it's probably too pianissimo. And if you lose control on the crescendo, that means that you have crescendoed beyond your capability of being able to manage your breath. Mezza di voce. Lean, tall, like a string. What we feel, what we create on the inhalation phase is different from what happens on the exhalation phase. It's cause and effect. We don't want the effect in our throat. We want the effect to be out in front of us. So don't listen to yourself. Feel the voice. Feel the sensation. Use the body as a means to develop your senses, your kinesthetic senses of detecting what you should feel when the voice is making a certain sound. And if you are unsure, you can always record yourself. Analogies to finish out this particular portion. A slow leak in a tire. When you hear a slow leak in a tire, it could take all day for that tire to become flattened. There's so much compression in the tire because all the air cannot come out at one time. So there's a slow leak. A water hose. If you have a water hose, and if you were to plug the hose, the water would back up in the hose. So we don't want to contain all the air. We want some of it to come out. So if you were to just restrict the top of the hose just a little bit, the water would still come out, but not all of it would come flowing out quickly. What you are doing is you're managing the flow. If you had a balloon and you put a little hole in the balloon, the air would slowly seep out of the balloon. Or if you put water in a balloon, the water would slowly seep out. This is what we are trying to assimilate with our bodies. If our body is a balloon or a tire, we're trying to fill up the internal spaces, preferably the lungs, expanding the ribs. If the lungs were a tire, and if the breath were a slow leak, that is how we learn to manage breath. Without breath management, singers will develop a lot of vocal faults, one of which is breathiness, one of which is a straight, edgy tone, an uneven vibrato. So our objective is to learn to breathe so that we may sing expressively. This can take years to develop, but at least if you have the proper tools in place, you will eventually begin to master it.